So we were talking about imitation of other musicians, and using that, as you mentioned, as a school starting point. But then certainly in terms of adding, or just having spiritual practice or yogic practice, eventually you want to shed that stuff and take off your mask, take off your suit, and be an individual.
Well, I would say that the deeper you go, then the more that stuff is shed. Because we're talking about imitation relative to what's already out there, existing. So this imitation is relative to your culturing. That's school. Life is school. You imitate. You learn to adapt to and live up to in a certain way. And so, but you're not destined to go beyond that. You might have to make that the case for yourself. Now, somebody as extraordinary as Lenny Bro was complaining about this very dilemma. He knew who everybody was, everyone else's style, but he didn't know who he was. He knew he could play it, but that wasn't enough for him, which meant he was still experiencing some crisis of truth. But if you go deeper, if you strip yourself down, and a meaning in the sense of letting go of what you know you've assumed from culture and everybody else, and you may start finding indications that you have something within your own inner that is true to you and only you. But sometimes that's a long journey. Where you can get to a place where you play one note, you know it's yours. It doesn't sound like anything else you've ever heard. See, then you have the integrity and the honesty to say, wow, I'm onto something here, but it's because I'm going inside, not outside. So imitating outside. I'm letting that go. I want to go deeper and dig deeper in the hopes of finding something, like a miner. It's going deep into the mountain. In this case, you're talking about your own inner consciousness in hopes of finding that treasure of your true creativity, your true contribution to the world, if there is such a thing.
So the process of yoga and slowing down, that would seem to be able to kind of stop the process of just taking the outside, taking the being in the school, so to speak, and
well,
having a different approach.
feeding off of the culture as the way, and it is the way to gain, let's say, resonance with the culture, to gain fame relative to the culture. Because people worship those who worship the worshippers, right, and the worshipped, right? Especially in the jazz culture. You sound like Miles Davis, people are going to, worship you. Right? You sound like Wes Montgomery, people are going to worship you. Right? Sound like Bill Evans, people are going to worship you. Sound like John Coltrane, people are going to worship you. If they're going to sound like Tisziji, nobody's going to worship you. They're not going to give you the right time of day. Promise. They'll leave you flat. Right on the spot there. As I should tell Rock Along when he first came to study with me, I said, listen, if you do this, everybody's going to hate you. And then years later he says, you were right about that. Right, so to go deeper is a different process for different people. So it's a concept. So how do you go deeper? What do you need to suffer and give up in order to go to a deeper place? Beyond the theory or beyond the concept of going deeper. Say, well, now I studied that, but now I'm going to do this. Studying 10,000 things is not going deeper. It's studying 10,000 things, all at the same level. Even though, you study Bach, that's deeper technically in a certain way, the same level. Somebody else's stuff. It's not you. Come on.
So no matter what it is, the other is essentially always an obstruction? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's a key. It's a bridge. It's a bridge to success, relative to what is familiar to the people. So it can be recognized. It can be validated. It can be enjoyed as a different version of somebody else's work. Joe Pass, right? Great guitar player. More standard player. But, you know, he was a happy cat and he played. You know, he's an exciting cat, man. You know, inside, exciting. I was happy to meet him, talk to him. And so it's really a question for the individual. What are they willing to give up? And that means all your, let's say, jazz-sucking addiction to everybody else's stuff, right? How do you, in your right mind, let all that go? Discount that and discredit that and say, this is all garbage. See? Because that's sucking the air out of you, sucking the life out of you. It's making you more what that is and not giving you a chance to go the other way into what you are or what you is. You got to find a way to get into what you is, and I think here you have an opportunity to go to that because I play what I is, right? And having been given the great opportunity to play with the Coltrane people from early on down the time track, that helped me play what I is, because there, if you're going to be trying to play Train, nobody was going to dig it. The Train was playing Train, so you had to come up with something a little bit more original to survive there. See? And Rashid, who I played with most of those years, not most of those years, towards the end of those years, and Pharaoh, they had keen ears for what originality was. You couldn't fake it. You know, they tell you, yeah, that's original, that's you. That's true for you. That's your, you know, what they call it, your innocence. So, your immortality. Mm-hmm. So it depends on what you choose to become in the process of growing into being a musician who's also practicing yoga, which means you also have attention on inner processes. We can call them subtle world processes, right? Working with different energy fields, different energy forms, different kinds of emotion, right? Different kinds of thoughts that are geared more to the, let's say, spiritual, and then the super spiritual, and the creative, and maybe even enlightenment, which is not what the musicians are working towards. See, they're working towards some kind of egomaniacal success. See, and the materialism that goes along with that. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a step on the path. So I say to everybody, yeah, you go for it. Go get whatever awards you want out there. I have no interest in that. I'm already awarded and rewarded by what I do. I already have gold and I already have diamonds of a certain level. I don't need anybody else's business. I don't want it. I heard influences when I was younger. Yeah, I learned from that and put it aside. It's like, oh, this is part of it. So we start with the training, and then we have to slowly but surely, as we evolve, start to let that go, start to depend less on that and more on what's inside. Maybe even your own feelings for a change. Your own suffering for a change. Convert it into creative results that are true for you.